Hi, namaste. Welcome to this yoga flow. This is targeting the thighs and quads. I'm working on improving my utthita, hasta, padangustasana, especially that hold at the end, which requires lots of quad strength and hip flexor strength. So that's what this video is aimed at. So we're going to do lots of strengthening and stretching of our thigh muscles. So join me on the mat in a comfortable seat and just come into your breath. Slow down the breath. Feel yourself. Be present for your practice. You can bring your hands into the heart center and chant any starting mantra of your choosing. It can be an Om, there can be Shantis, whatever you need to come into your practice. And when you're ready, rub your palms together, place the palms over the closed eyes, open the eyes, and bring the palms down. Let's start on toes pose. So tuck your toes underneath and sit gently onto your heels, feeling some pressure in your toes. Let's raise our right arm up overhead and bend over to the left side. Try to keep your spine long here and try to keep your stomach active. Let's bend that right arm, trying to point the elbow directly up to the ceiling, really opening up through the side ribs. Now let's come upright and with the left hand, pull on that elbow for a little extra shoulder stretch. And now bringing the left hand from underneath, try to go for a bind or just grab onto your t-shirt if that's more available to you. Opening up those shoulders, preparing for our practice. Let's release and bring it over to the other side. So the left hand comes up and overhead, bending over to the right. The right hand can be on the ground to support you. Breathe into your side ribs. And now bend that left elbow and see if you can point the elbow directly up to the sky, really opening up on the side, not cheating our shoulders forward, but opening directly to the side. Lift up and using the right hand, give yourself a little shoulder stretch. Breathing into the stretch. And now taking your right hand from underneath, see if you can interlock those fingers or grab onto your shirt, a strap, whatever you need to feel a nice stretch in your left shoulder and in your right shoulder. Coming out of that stretch, join me by releasing your toes, shake out your legs a little bit if you need to. And now sitting onto the front part of our feet, sit back a little bit so your knees come off the ground. Place your hands into your heart, feeling a stretch on the front of your feet. Now placing your knees down, place your hands behind you and just slightly tuck your pelvis under. We're not going for an intense opening position. We're just trying to get some stretch in our quads, in our hip flexors. This is a nice quad stretch. Just tucking the pelvis. No need to go into a big back bend. Coming out of that, let's go onto our hands and knees into tabletop position. And just articulating through some cat-cows. So rounding the back, looking back at our navel, and then arching the back, lifting the head, lifting the heart. Let's do 5 cat-cows, starting to warm up our spine, warm up our core, our shoulders, our arms. Take them with your own breath at your own speed. Inhaling into cow, exhaling into cat. When you're all done with your cat-cows, place the right leg behind. place the ball of the foot on the floor and stretch out a little bit, and then lift that leg up so it's even, and then lift it up even higher. Bring it back so it's even with your hip. Bring the knee into the elbow, extend it back behind, bring the knee into the chest now, hold, and extend it behind, and lower the foot. Let's do it with the other leg. So first stretching out through the calf a little bit, then lifting up the foot so that it's even with the hip, and then pulsing it up even higher, holding, bringing it back even with the hip, and then bringing the knee to the left shoulder, then replacing it back behind us, then bringing the knee into the chest, rounding the back, holding and releasing. Let's do that a couple times. So with the right side, a little faster, lifting up, bring it to the right elbow, into the chest, and release back. With the left, pulse it up, bring it to the left shoulder, bring it into the chest, and back. Again with the right, up, right shoulder, chest, release back, place it down, and with the left, pulse it up, bring it down, to the left shoulder, bring it back, into the chest, bring it back, and lower down. One more time, take it at your own speed, really feeling the core engagement and the glute engagement. Now let's place our feet back and hold in a high plank position. Holding a couple more breaths and rounding through our back, push all the way back into downward facing dog. Here, let's walk out the feet, stretching out through our calves, through our hamstrings, getting comfortable in our first downward facing dog of the practice. Push into your hands, make sure this is an active downward facing dog. Now bend the knees, bring the chest all the way back to the thighs, and see if you can straighten, lifting your hips all the way to the sky. Separate your feet so they're mat distance apart, and then reach for the left ankle with the right hand, feeling a nice stretch in your side body and in your abdomen. Take it to the other side. The left hand reaches for the right ankle. Pull yourself through. Look under your armpit if you can. Replace your hands on the mat. Bring your feet so they're hip distance apart. And walk slowly to the front of our mat into a forward fold, uttanasana. And bend your knees, slowly roll yourself up to standing, samastiti. Roll out the shoulders, prepare yourself for Surya Namaskar A. So inhale, lift your arms up overhead. Exhale, slight bend of the knees, lower all the way down, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, step or jump back to chaturanga. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale, push yourself strong back to downward facing dog. Pushing your chest back towards your thighs. Pulling your heels to the ground. Look forward, step or jump back to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms come overhead. Exhale, samastiti. Round 2, inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or hop back to chaturanga. Inhale, pull your heart forward for upward facing dog. Exhale, push the hips up and back for downward facing dog. We're taking these a little quicker just so we can generate the heat and get to the rest of our practice. Look forward, step or jump to the front of the mat. Lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift all the way up Urdhva Vrikshasana, hands touch. And exhale, Samastiti, hands come to the side. One more, inhale, look up. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, step or jump back, low plank chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Remember to stay active in your dog. Push into your hands, push into your feet. Don't be lazy in your dog. When you're ready, look forward to the front of the mat. Hop or step to the front. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise all the way up. Hands touch, gaze goes to the hands. Exhale, back to Samastiti. Surya Namaskar B. Bend the knees for Utthita chair pose. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or jump back to chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha upward facing dog. Exhale, Adho Mukha downward facing dog. Step the right foot between the hands. Lift up in an inhale for warrior A. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Step back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot steps between the hands. Inhale for warrior A. Place the hands down to the mat. Exhale to lower down to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Catch your breath. Looking between your hands, step or jump to the front, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down all the way forward. Inhale to chair pose, and exhale, straighten the legs for Samastiti. One more, bend the hips back. Inhale, Utkatasana chair pose. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step all the way back, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, push yourself strong to downward facing dog. Right foot comes between the hands. Inhale, warrior A. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Push back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the left foot comes between the hands to warrior 1. Lower the hands and exhale, bring yourself down to low plank, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, and catch your breath. Push into the hands, push into the feet. Lift your hips high to the ground. High to the sky or the ceiling. And see if you can look back between your thighs or at your navel. Look between your hands. Step to the front. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale to chair pose. And exhale, Samastiti. Let's do our first sequence. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Step back to chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring your right foot in between your hands. Stay on your left toes and lift up to a high lunge, Anjaneyasana. Feel a nice stretch in your left hip flexor. You'll feel a deeper stretch if you tuck your pelvis a little bit. Really turn on your legs here to support you. Bend deeper into the right leg with every exhale and feel yourself lengthen your spine with every inhale. Now lower the left leg to the ground and then straighten the right leg here, doing some low lunges. So lower and straighten. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten. And hold in high lunge. Place the hands on the ground, vinyasa. So chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Let's do that with the other foot. So bring the left leg up to high lunge. Slight tuck of your pelvis. Try to square your hips, staying high on that right foot. Now, on an exhale, bend the right knee, tap the ground, inhale, straighten both of your legs, lower, tap, inhale, lift, exhale, tap, and lift, tap, and lift, and one more, tap, and lift. Bend the left knee again, hold in this high lunge, maybe arch your back, look up a little bit, place the hands on the ground, and go back through your vinyasa to come to upward facing dog and downward facing dog. Now step the right foot back in between the hands, this time lowering onto the back knee. Press yourself up, hands on the right knee for a low lunge, feeling the nice stretch here in the hip flexor. Now push into that left foot so that the left knee comes off the ground and raise your arms up to the sky. Feeling your strong leg supporting you. Lower that knee to the ground and now lift up your left toes, your left foot as much as you can, bringing it to your butt, just using the muscles of your legs, and now grab onto it with your left hand, pulling it closer towards your glutes, feeling a stretch in your quad and your hip flexor. Remembering to keep your belly button coming towards your spine. Now place the hands on the ground, straighten through that front leg, come into half splits. Nice stretch for the hamstring here. Come back into that low lunge. Lift your arms up. Lift that left knee off the ground, pushing into the left foot. And this was tough here. See if you can place your torso over your right knee and lift up into Warrior 3. That takes a lot of quad strength. Now bring the left foot, without touching the ground, up as high as you can, and then bring it back into Warrior 3. So bending the left knee, bring the knee as close to your chest as possible, lift your arms, and then send it back into Warrior 3. We're doing this 5 times total. Lift the knee up to your chest, use the strength of your hip flexor, and push back to Warrior 3. Lift the knee, lift the arms, bring the leg and the arm back. Inhale, lift the knee, lift the arms. Lift a little more, last one. And back to Warrior 3. Bend the right knee, step back to a high lunge, arms come overhead. Hold here, and hands to the mat. Step back, chaturanga, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Now left knee comes comes between the hands. Lower the right knee for a low lunge. Inhale to come up for a little stretch. Push into the right foot. See if you can lift the right knee off the ground, feeling strong through our thighs, through our legs. Lower the knee, and using the muscles of the leg, pull the right heel towards the right glute. Now reach back for that foot with the right hand for a little extra stretch in that quad. Release the foot, slide back a little bit, straighten the left leg for half splits, half Hanumanasana, giving our hamstrings a little bit of love. Bend that left knee, come back to our low lunge, press into the right foot again, lift the knee up, lift the arms up, and see if you can lean your torso out over your left knee, arms come by your side, transfer the weight into that left foot and lift up to warrior three. Try to level the hips here, point the toes of the right foot down towards the mat. Now bring the knee into the chest, lift the arms up, and bring it back to warrior three without touching the ground. Bend the knee, bring it into the chest, lift it as high as you can, and bring it back into warrior three. A few more times, lift the knee up. When you don't think you can lift up anymore, give it a little pulse, lift it up even higher, and back to warrior three. Inhale, lift the knee up. Exhale, back to warrior three. Inhale, lift it up, and hold it a little extra, lift it higher. Pull it back to warrior three. Bend the left knee, step back to come into our high lunge, arms overhead, and arms to the mat. Step back, chaturanga, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Again, bring the right foot between the hands, lower onto that back knee. This time come up directly, placing the knee off the ground. Lower the knee, reach for that left foot. See if you can grab it with both hands this time, really pulling it in towards your glute. Release. Come back into half splits. You can walk your hands forward for some extra stretch. Come back to a low lunge, press into the left foot, lift the knee up, arms come overhead, lean yourself up over your right knee, and lift up again to warrior three. Bring the knee into the chest. This time we're going to straighten the leg out in front of us, bend the knee again, go back to warrior three. So lift the knee into the chest, straighten the leg, and then extend the leg back into warrior three. So it's like what we were doing before with the addition of straightening the leg after we've brought the knee into the chest. Again, lift the knee up, extend the leg, and bring it back, warrior three. Bend the knee, lift the knee, extend the leg out, and hold, and bring it back to warrior three. Step back into a high lunge. Bring the hands to the mat, step back to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Step the left foot in between the hands, lower the right knee, and then lift up, pushing into that right foot, lifting the right knee off the ground. Lower the knee. This time reach for the right foot with both hands if you can, really pulling the foot in towards the glute for a deep quad stretch. Release the foot, slide back for half splits. Walk the hands forward for a bit of a deeper stretch. You can have your back flat or round it gently, whatever kind of stretch you prefer. Come back into the low lunge, bending the left knee. Lift the arms up, straighten through the right leg, bringing the knee off the ground. Lean over the left knee and see if you can pull yourself up into warrior three. Again here, bend the knee, bring the arms overhead, straighten through the leg, and bring it back into warrior three. Doing this a few more times. Bring the knee up, extend the leg, and push back, warrior three. Inhale, bring the knee up, bring the arms up, extend, and release back into warrior three. Bend the knee, come on up, straighten, bring it back to warrior three. And one more time, inhale the knee up, kick the foot out in front of you, hold, and send it back, warrior three. Bend the left knee, come into high lunge, bring the hands to the mat, step back to chaturanga, inhale to upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog. Look between the hands and step or hop or whatever you want to seated. We're going to open the legs out for utthita, a wide forward fold. So extend your legs out wide, hold onto your toes, and fold forward. Holding here, breathing into your hips, into your hamstrings, and your spine. Lift up, and we're going to do a little lift off. So place your hands in front of you and see if you can lift everything off. And now coming to the right leg, place the hands on either side of the leg and see if you can lift yourself up that way, really using the strength of our legs and our core here. Hold and lower down. Now pulse your right foot up 10 times, so lifting and lowering, using the strength of your quad. And now do 5 rotations of the foot one way, and then 5 the other way, or 10. Now release that and do a little side stretch, holding on to the right foot, stretching out through your left side body. Come to face the right leg, come into half splits, half Hanumanasana, or you can go all the way into full splits. Stay active in your legs here. Feel like you're pulling your thighs towards each other, like you're scissoring your legs together. Strong base. Come out of that stretch, come back into utthita, however you can. And let's do that middle lift off again. So place the hands in front of your hips and lift up and lower. Now coming to the left side, place the hands around the leg, see if you can lift yourself off. Hold and lower down. And now lifting the left foot 10 times, lift and lower, using the strength of your quad, of your hip flexor. Now 10 circles one way. And 10 circles the other way, feeling the burn in your hip flexor. And release. Bring that stretch over to the left side, holding on to the left foot with your right hand. Release that stretch, twist, turn yourself to face the back of your mat for a half Hanumanasana, or extend yourself all the way out for Hanumanasana. Being careful with your hamstrings, don't push yourself too deep. Stabilize yourself by pulling your legs together so you have a strong base. You can lift the arms overhead if you want. Coming out of that pose, come back into the wide-legged position. Lift yourself up again in the middle. And this time, I'm taking 2 blocks and placing them around my right leg, lifting myself up, and then bringing my legs back for Ekapada Vinyasa. So you can play around with that if you want. The blocks help to add a little bit more height. Come back to that wide leg lift off, hold, and lower down. Now the level game. Place the block on the ground and swipe the leg over it 10 times. The block's on the lowest height right now. Lower the foot, bring the block to the next level, lift the leg up, and pulse 10 times. Lower the foot, lift the block so it's on the highest height. Lift the foot up, and 10 times bring it across the block. Release that, and go for a side stretch release out of that intense exercise. Now coming to face the front of our mat, this time let's go into a pigeon. So bending the right knee, extending through your left leg, start upright, lengthen through your back, and then fold all the way forward. Breathe into your hips here and try to keep your right foot flexed to protect the right knee. Lift yourself back up, come back into a straddle position. You know what's coming. One more center lift off and lower. Now placing the blocks on either side of the right leg. Prepare yourself and lift up into that wide-legged hold. Bring your foot back between your hands for Ekapada Queen Vinyasa. Bring it back, hold, and lower. If you don't want to go back for Ekapada Queen Vinyasa, you're just holding the whole time. Now the level game, placing the block next to the foot, pulse the foot 10 times over the block. Bring the block onto the medium height. Lift the leg and bring the foot 10 times across the block. Lower the foot, bring the block onto the highest height, and 10 times bring the foot across the block. Really strengthening through the hip flexor and through the quad here. Lower the foot and give yourself a little side stretch. You can go for a front stretch too, folding yourself out over your left foot, left leg. Now coming into pigeon on the left side. Lift yourself up tall and fold all the way forward. Lift up out of pigeon. And come back into that wide leg position. One more time, Upavishta Konasana, fold forward. Release your back, release your hips. Place your legs out in front of you. Come into Navasana with bent knees, and then one by one, straighten your right leg, straighten your left leg. Try to keep your knees close to your chest. Then cross your legs, lift up, exhale, lower back down, come into Navasana, lift the left leg, lift the right leg, cross the feet the other way, inhale, lift up, exhale, release. Come into Navasana again, this time both legs straight. Extend through your back, extend through your legs. Cross the knees, lift up and lower. Again, lift up, Navasana. Cross the legs, lift up and lower. And one more time, lift both legs up to Navasana. Come a little higher. Cross the legs, lift up and lower, and extend your arms out for Paschimottanasana, a nice forward fold. Come back up. Now placing the hands next to the thighs, lift everything up for a nice L-sit and lower down. Now bring the left knee in for Janu Shirshasana, extending yourself over your right leg. Come out of that, straighten the left leg for Dandasana, place the arms by your thighs, lift up another L-sit, hold it, and lower. And now Janu Shirshasana on the right side, the right knee bends and you extend over your left leg. Hold your wrists if you can, or just hold onto your foot or your calf, whatever you can reach today. Release that stretch, extend both legs in front, another L-sit, prepare yourself, round your back, lift yourself up, use your core, use your legs, hold, and release to the ground. Now let's do a figure 4 stretch, so bringing your left foot over your right thigh, fold over that right leg. Release, sit back in Dandasana, another L-sit, using all of our hip flexor strength to hold those legs up to our up in the air. Now lower down, and the right foot comes over the left thigh and fold over that left leg. Look up, come out of that stretch. And we're doing it. One more L-sit, lift up and hold everything off the ground and lower. Bend both knees for Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. Use your elbows to push your thighs closer to the ground, and with a flat back, fold over your feet. Release butterfly and come into plank pose, lower down chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Look between your hands, step or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms come overhead, gaze towards your palms. And exhale, Samastiti. Now is the time. We're doing something else. We're going to kick the right leg up and 10 times kick the foot in front of us. And then bend the knee, kick and bend, kick and bend. And then place the foot in front of us on the mat, coming into pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. Stretching through our hamstring. Loose hamstrings are going to help us with utthita, hasta, padangustasana because there will be less resistance pulling our leg lower. Lift back up and see if you can directly lift your leg up into the air for a little hold and lower it down. And now bending the left knee, kick the foot in front of you 10 times. This is going to help us release through our hamstring. Place the left foot in front of us, lower down for Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose for a nice hamstring stretch. You can walk the hands forward to intensify the stretch, or walk the hands back, pulling your torso closer to your leg. Lift your torso out of the pose, and coming onto your right leg, lift the left leg up to the sky and lower it back down. Now is the time we've been waiting for. Utthita, hasta, padangustasana. Bend the right foot, grab onto the right big toes with your dip 2 fingers in your thumb and extend it in front of you. Fold down and hold for 5 breaths. Trying to get the forehead close to the leg. Lift yourself back up. Open up the foot to the right side. Gaze towards the left. Pointing the toe away from you, turning the leg out. Bring it back to center. Head comes back to the knee. Straighten back up and release and point the toe and hold. And lower. Prepare yourself for the other side, lifting the left leg up, grab onto the toe, the big toe with the 2 fingers and the thumb, and straighten it out in front of us, trying to keep a flat back, trying to keep a straight right leg, and fold your torso down towards your left leg, your forehead coming towards your knee. Come out of that fold and open the leg up to the left side. Your gaze goes over the right shoulder, Parsvadristi. Bring the leg back to center. Fold out over it one more time. Lift up and release. Point the toes. Try to hold. Engage the stomach muscles, engage the leg muscles, and lower the knee. One more time. This time we're going to see if we can lift the leg up without bending the knee and grab onto the toe that way. And let's release and just go for a hold here. Bend the knee and see if we can lift it higher. Bend it, see if we can lift it higher and straighten. And one more time, bend and see if you can lift it higher and hold. And release. Other side, see if you can directly lift up the left leg and grab onto the big toe. Extend the foot out. Release the hand. Bend the knee, lift the knee higher, straighten. Bend the knee, lift it higher, straighten. One more time, bend it, lift it higher, straighten, and hold. And release. Good job. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or jump back to chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's jump through to seated. And actually come onto our stomachs for a little stretch. So lifting up onto your right elbow, reach for your left foot with your left hand, flip your grip, and pull your foot towards your glute for a nice quad stretch. Release the left foot, and now reach for the right foot with the right hand. Flip the grip if you want, and pull the foot towards the glute. Now grab onto both feet, and pulling with your feet, lift yourself up into Dhanurasana bow pose. Knees come off the ground, shoulders and chest come off the ground. Release your chest to the ground, keep holding onto your feet. We're going to do one more. So pull your feet away from your body, lift yourself up. The full expression of this bow pose. And release, gently release the legs. Lift up, upward facing dog. Push back, downward facing dog. Look between the hands and come to sit on our knees for camel pose. Hands go on the hips. Let the chest shine forward as you start to bend back. See if you can grab onto the ankles or the heels. And push your hips forward, push your chest forward and up. feeling a nice stretch through the quads and extension through the back. Lift up out of that camel, and we're going to do one more. So placing the hands on the hips, allow the hips to push forward as you extend your spine. Reach for the heels and shine your heart forward. Lift up out of that camel. Let's go for some more quad stretching. So come into a low lunge on the right side, placing the left hand on the mat, twist open to the right, grab onto that left foot and pull it in towards your glute. Stretch out the quad that we worked so hard, the hip flexor too. Release that and place both forearms on the ground for lizard pose, coming up off of the left knee. You can rock forward and back, stretching out through the hip here. Replace the knee on the ground, and now gently open up the right knee a bit to the side, coming onto the outer edge of our right foot. Let's come out of that. Place both hands around the foot, step back, downward facing dog, and bring the left foot in for a low lunge on the other side. Reaching for the right foot with the left hand. Right hand goes on the ground for a twist. Release the foot, bring both forearms onto the inside, and lift up for lizard pose. Open up the left knee to the left, coming onto the outer edge of the left foot. For a bit of a different stretch here. Lift up onto your hands, come back to center, frame the foot with the hands, step back into downward facing dog. Look between the hands, jump through to seated, and let's lie down on the back, bringing the legs up and overhead for halasana, bringing the hands down. You can interlock the hands if you like. Now we're going to lower a little bit onto our back, grab onto the feet for this, I'm going to call it Supta Paschimottanasana, I believe it is. Just a supine forward fold. Releasing out of those back bends. Now, lowering the left leg to the ground, but still holding on to the right foot, we're going to come into Supta padangustasana, stretching through that right hamstring. Use your left hand on your left thigh to try to keep that leg on the ground. And pull the right foot closer towards you. Now hold on to that right foot with the left hand, and for a twist, bring the foot all the way over to the left side, trying to keep the leg straight if you can. The gaze is going to go over the right side. Now come back to center. Give the foot another squeeze into the body with both hands, giving yourself a nice stretch. Bring the left foot back up for our Supta Paschimottanasana. And now holding on to the left foot, we're going to release the right leg all the way down to the mat to come to Supta Padangustasana on the other side. So lower the hips down, lower the right leg down. The right hand comes onto the right thigh to encourage that leg to stay on the ground. Requires a lot of flexibility. And now grabbing onto the left outer foot with the right arm, twist that leg over to the right, straightening it if you can, If you can't, go for a bend. Bring that leg back to center. Hold on to the leg with both hands. Hold on to the calf, onto the knee, onto the foot if you can, wherever you feel the stretch. I'll bring that foot down, bend both knees, windshield wiper your legs a little bit. Stretch your arms up overhead. Make yourself comfortable and come into your Shavasana. Try to direct your breath into your belly, feeling your stomach inflate with your inhales and deflate with your exhales. And then after a few conscious breaths, let go completely of the breath, let go of the control. Just allow yourself to be. Start to bring awareness back to your physical body. You can start to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Gently waking yourself up from Shavasana. Bring your arms up and overhead and stretch yourself out for a big morning stretch. Bend your knees, roll up over to your right side using your right hand as a pillow. Lift yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Staying with your breath here. Bring your hands to your heart. You can perform a closing mantra. And give gratitude to yourself. Give gratitude to your practice. And gratitude to the whole universe. Rub the palms, generate heat, place the palms over the closed eyes, gently blink the eyes open, release the palms. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me.